In this video, I'll show you how to display data from your Google BigQuery database inside a Dixa conversation. And the way we're going to do that is by using Dixa's custom card feature. Custom cards display under the integrations headline here. And we'll use a tool called FactBranch for that. I'm going to show you how. So first, head to factbranch.com and get a FactBranch account. All accounts come with a 14-day free trial. And once you've done that, you'll see this screen and select Show Data in a Dixa custom card. This creates a data pipeline in FactBranch, and the way data pipelines work is they get triggered by something, in our case a custom card in Dixa. Then whatever data they get, they send to the next node. That node does something to the data and sends it on to the next node, and so on. So the first thing we want to do is connect to our BigQuery account. So we head to Data Sources, add a data source, and select Google BigQuery. This will forward you to the OAuth flow. I'm going to select my account, allow access, and we're connected. Now if we go back to our flows, our show data in Dixa data pipeline, what we want to do is use BigQuery's API endpoint. So we create a REST API node. And as authentication, automatically our Google BigQuery account was selected because that was the only data source we have. So that's convenient. And then we have to use a bunch of boilerplate here. So this is straight from the BigQuery API docs. We want to post to this endpoint. In our case, we're using the FactBranch project. That's just a test project for us. In your case, that part of the URL will probably almost definitely be different. And we want to use the queries endpoint because we want to run a query against our database. Then I'm going to paste in some boilerplate to run a query. The query itself is up here. So in our case, that's a very simple select from the customers database table. And we want to have a where condition and filter by email address. And for that, we have to define a placeholder inside our query. And that's defined down here in our query parameters. We call it email. So the type is string, and tell it which value to use. I'm going to go ahead and copy a variable, a placeholder directly from our test inputs here. So we want to use the customer email address. I'm going to paste it here. Now this tells FactBranch to substitute this value for the customer email from the trigger. So if we run this query now, so it runs all right, but we don't get any results yet. And that's because we don't have a test@example.com in our database. We should have an alice@example.com. And here we are. This returns one row with 3 columns. So if we head back to the data pipeline, you'll see that now the data pipeline consists of a trigger that sends data to our REST node. The REST node runs a query on your BigQuery database. And finally, it sends on the data to the render UI node. And this is what we're going to do now. Create the final output. In this case, you'll see that the data we get from BigQuery is very convoluted and quite complicated. So we'll have to use a custom template for that. I'm just going to paste in a template that displays our data in 2 different forms, just to show you what's possible. So the first form is to just display it as a simple label and value display. And the second variant would be as a table. And this is a simple HTML table. We're using predefined classes, CSS classes for that, the UI underscore table. Just so if I remove that, you'll see that what it does. So it just turns this table into a very dense but still nice design or layout. All right. So this is the output we'll get in Dixa, and the final remaining step would be to create a custom card in Dixa. And for a guide how to do that, we head to the trigger config, and you'll see a step-by-step guide. So first thing we have to do is go to settings in Dixa, integrations, and create a custom card. I'm going to name it FactBranch. Copy paste the hook URL. We're using get as a method. We want to use authorization header as the auth method. A bearer header that I'm the bearer token that I'm going to copy paste from here. This token tells FactBranch which data pipeline to actually run. And final step, copy paste the template content. The template content basically tells Dixa how to display the custom card. If I save changes and head back to my conversation, you'll see that FactBranch custom card loads below integrations, and we get live data from our BigQuery database. So that's all it takes. Head over to factbranch.com and start your 14-day free trial. If you have questions, email support@factbranch.com anytime, or head to factbranch.com/docs to learn more about the data pipelines and nodes.